Sean, there were a couple of coaches, 3 coaches in particular, that had serious duds for this week. And I think that there's one glaring, obvious one that has put themselves in a very sticky situation for the future with their program. I think the other 2 are fine. I'm referring to Lincoln Riley, who blew a fourth quarter lead and then got alley-ooped on by Maryland's quarterback and running back to fall to 3-4 this year. Hugh Freeze, who this team is now 2-5. They had a lead over Missouri. They were winning the football game. They allowed Missouri to do seesawish, obnoxious things, rally back, get back in the football game. And then Brent Venables got smoked by South Carolina. Horrible, horrible matchup, as I talked about on the betting show. Having to deal with that defensive line going up against your makeshift Home Depot offensive line that you put together just with whatever you could find in the aisles. We're going to just put plywood wherever we can find it and hope that it keeps this unit together. 9 sacks is what they allowed, by the way, which is an insane total. I think if there's anyone who is in the worst footing, it is Lincoln Riley. Brent Venables just signed an extension. I think that he and his agent were smart enough to realize this is going to be a hard year. We can finish 7-5. We're going to go to a bowl game. We're going to keep recruiting at a high level, and we're going to be completely fine. You just need to be patient, and this is a sign that the administration was willing to give him that. Hugh Freeze, there's financial commitment to him, and this is a disappointing loss, but I think that there is still a little bit of grace, this being his second year, and how much time we've seen other coaches in the SEC who have done worse that amount of time that they've been given. But this is pathetic for Lincoln Riley. This is a guy who, and I have said this constantly, and I will continue to push this narrative because I don't think he's a very good coach that everyone paints him to be. He is so overrated. He coached multiple great quarterbacks, and he turned them into Heisman Trophy winners. But you ask him to do anything that translates to winning a conference outside of the Big 12, being in the national championship landscape of legitimate value, he's not going to be able to accomplish it. He can't win in the Big 10. Them playing in the Big 10 and going cross country to play a team like Maryland, to blow the lead like they did, they are a walking dead body. Of course, they play great in Las Vegas. Of course, they got hyped for that game when they had all that time to prepare. But this team is not built to succeed in the conference. It was understandable if they were going to drop games to teams like Michigan, or if they were going to lose to teams like Penn State. But you can't be going around losing these matchups against Minnesota and Maryland, the middle to the back end. That has proven the narrative that everybody pushed in the offseason, Sean, that they weren't going to be physical enough and that they were going to get run over.
I was more angry with Lincoln when he didn't do anything with Caleb Williams. That was a disaster just because of how talented that guy was, at least at college. You can't lose to Maryland. You just can't. You can't blow 14
They're really bad this year.
They're not good, and you lost to
Cam
them.
Rogers was having a field day.
Was he wearing his sunglasses?
I don't know, but I have a lot of posts that he was at the homecoming.
Of course he was. I'm sure everyone knew him. Yeah, you can't lose to Minnesota, and the loss to Michigan keeps looking worse because you had a quarterback and you lost to a team without a quarterback. I think the Hugh Freeze, though, is my hot seat. He hasn't done dick at Auburn. He lost to Mizzou today against Drew Pine and Brady Cook, who had to come back from the hospital.
Talk about LinkedIn superstar Drew Pine. But wait, did he actually?
Brady Cook went and
hospital?
got an MRI mid-game, returned to the game, and beat Auburn.
I didn't know that. That's actually insane.
Hugh Freeze stinks. John Talty put this out. Through 20 games at Auburn, Brian Harsin was 9-11 as a head coach. Freeze is 8-12.
Well, I got to do tonight though.
Harsin had the plug pulled on him after his 21st game. That's next week for Hugh.
Yeah, but
why do people love Hugh Freeze?
Harsin didn't politic enough, and Hugh Freeze is that goofy ass smile that warms people's hearts. Apparently,
you know what?
That picture of his goofy ass smile.
I don't like Hugh Freeze. I don't. I think he's a bad coach. I don't know why they hired him. Go and stay in the G5 with Liberty. Do that. You can't handle coaching this Auburn team. It's too much for you. Auburn was supposed to be, let's make them a riser. Let's make Auburn a good team because they almost beat Alabama last year and they lost just because of a miracle. Oh, but they'll be better this year with Hugh under the Hugh system. They stink. They're awful. I can't. I'm tired of Hugh Freeze. I'm over it. Harsin got a bad rap. The writing was on the wall before he started his second season. And Hugh Freeze just has a bunch of immunity? That's BS. Venables has the coolest seat out of these three.
Yeah.
Lincoln at a close 2. But Venables isn't off the hook for me either. The QB controversy, neither of them can play. You lose by freaking 26 points to South Carolina.
Well, the craziest part with Lincoln is he actually has the safest situation because his buyout's like $88 million or something crazy like that. USC doesn't give enough of a shit like Texas A&M does to move on from them. They don't. They do not have the fan base that is that motivated with that kind of oil money moving around.
You're right.
To make that move and to get rid of him.
Clay Helton was there for a minute. Man.
Yeah.
He was.
Clay Helton was more successful than Lincoln Riley was until this point.
Dude, I don't know what the hell they got going on right now. That is embarrassing. They lost to Maryland. They went to overtime with Penn State, and you could see the bones of this team.
Yeah.
You could see when the offense is going. You could see that the defense can turn over.
They can't hold a lead. That's the most embarrassing part. No, it's just
God.
a bunch of losers. If I had power ranking for coaches that I have the most disdain for, that I think are the most overrated and the most overappreciated for no reason, for a lack of accomplishment, be Shane Beamer 1, and be Lincoln Riley number 2. Because Shane Beamer, the minute he does something, everybody's acting like he's the next coming of Nick Saban. And don't act like that's not true.
No, he's got those people in Columbia, South Carolina fired up. For
yeah,
good
man,
reason.
you beat up on Oklahoma. Good job, man. Good job.
Is like one of the, that is a good job. Oklahoma is like arguably the most successful college football franchise since 2000.
And Lincoln's number 2 because he is a Heisman Trophy merchant, and he's just riding off of that. That's all he can do. He can just produce Heisman Trophy first-round quarterbacks. It's arguably most of those guys, they're not actually. Most of them aren't even like really haven't been that good in the NFL.
Yeah, that's
Caleb's too soon to tell. Baker's been on a recovery track, but he's been on multiple teams.
Yeah,
the journey.
He wasn't a franchise saver.
Kyler Murray's been taking a step backward, and
he'll be on the Giants next year.
And Jalen Hurts is extremely overrated as well.
Yeah. You know what? When you put it under that lens, Lincoln Riley really just was like the first coach to not wear socks with his shoes and tight pants on the sidelines, and everyone thought he was an innovator. Oh my God. They both
gotta get the young head. He started this terrible trend where everyone's like, we need the young head coach. We need to get this guy knows Lincoln Riley. We need to hire him. That's literally Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer was literally on and I think it's even more hilarious to play into my disdain.
But Shane
Shane Beamer was on Lincoln's coaching staff.